I killed someone. While I was dreaming. I know how that sounds. Like guilt. Or trauma. Or just grief leaking into sleep. But it wasn't that. I didn't even know the man. I saw him in a dream, standing at the edge of a rooftop. Wind blowing through his coat. Streetlights glowing a strange, flickering orange behind him. I walked right up to him. And I pushed him. No words. No anger. Just pushed. And I watched him fall. I didn't feel scared. I felt nothing. Then I woke up. And I saw his picture on the news. A local journalist. Died falling from a rooftop. The exact one from my dream. Time of death? 3:14 a.m. I was asleep. Dreaming. Killing. After that first one, I didn't sleep for almost 2 days. Not because I was scared. But because I didn't feel anything. I should have. I killed someone. Even if it was just in a dream, even if I didn't know him. That feeling, that coldness when he hit the ground. It never left me. It wasn't like watching a movie. It was real. On the third night, exhaustion won. I passed out fully clothed on the floor of my apartment. And the dream came back. But this time, it wasn't a rooftop. It was the train tracks. A girl. Maybe 18. Standing in the center of the rails. Crying. I couldn't speak. Couldn't move. Just stood there and watched. She looked straight at me. And mouthed something. Please. The headlights came screaming through the tunnel. And I didn't stop it. I woke up soaked in sweat. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Not because of guilt. But because I felt the metal tear through her body. I heard the scream echo inside my skull. The next morning, I turned on the news again. Same story. Same girl. Hit by a train. At 3:12 a.m. Just like the last one. Right in the middle of my dream. My hands were shaking. Not from fear. But from the question I couldn't silence anymore. Was I doing this? Or was something using me? I stopped sleeping. Flat out refused. Coffee. Energy drinks. Standing in the shower at 4 a.m. just to keep my eyes open. I even tried slapping myself every time I nodded off. But the dreams kept coming. And each time I did sleep, even for 5 minutes, someone else died. A girl drowning in her bathtub. A man strangled by an unseen rope in his garage. A little boy, 5, maybe 6, just vanished. They found him in a lake. I dreamed it. I saw him walking into the water like he was hypnotized. I screamed at him. But in the dream, my mouth didn't move. I was watching, again. Just watching. After the 5th dream, I started writing names. I searched the faces I saw in my dreams. Every one of them showed up in real life. Real victims. Real deaths. And always within hours of me dreaming about them. Always, around 3:11 to 3:15 a.m. Always alone. No witnesses. No survivors. Just me. And a growing number of strangers buried because I closed my eyes. I told a friend. Just one. Kyle. He worked IT. He was a night owl. Always thought I was just too imaginative for my own good. Until I called him shaking at 2 a.m. and begged him to stay on the phone. Told him I could feel sleep pulling at me like gravity. I remember saying, if I dream tonight, someone dies. And Kyle just said, okay, then you won't sleep. I'll keep you talking. But around 3, he stopped answering. I fell asleep with the phone against my ear. I dreamt he was inside his apartment, standing in front of the mirror. But it didn't reflect him. It reflected me. And then, something stepped out of the reflection. Something, wearing my face. I woke up screaming. My phone was on the floor. Still connected. Just static. Kyle was found that morning. Hanged in his bedroom. No note. Mirror cracked. And the police told me something that froze my blood. We checked his call log. His last call was to you. But no one was talking on the other end. After Kyle died, I stopped telling people. Not because I was scared they wouldn't believe me. But because I was scared they would. That they'd start watching me the way I watched myself in the mirror. I stopped leaving the apartment. Covered every reflective surface. I took the batteries out of my smoke alarm just to hear silence. And I only let myself sleep in 10-minute intervals. I'd set alarms, drink cold water, anything to break the cycle. But I slipped. Eventually, I always slipped. And the dreams kept evolving. I no longer just watched death. Now I was inside it. I felt pain. I felt screams trapped in someone else's throat. And most terrifying of all, I began to remember details from the victims' lives. Passwords. Childhood smells. The way they gripped their steering wheels. As if something, or someone, was passing through me. Feeding on what was left behind. Then one night, at exactly 2:59 a.m., someone knocked on my door. Not a dream. I was awake. I triple-checked. The knock came again. 3 times. Slow. Deliberate. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Then a voice. Muffled. Male. You're not the first. I crept toward the peephole. No one. Just an envelope taped to the door. Inside, a single USB stick. No label. Just a word carved into the plastic. Dreamer. I plugged it into a laptop I never used online. The files were encrypted, but one folder opened. Hundreds of video clips. Night vision footage of people sleeping. Just like me. Twisting. Sweating. Whispering things that made no sense. Dates and times. Deaths that had already happened. But one video was labeled differently. Your next dream. I clicked. It was me. Sleeping. In my own bed. But someone else was in the frame. Standing over me. Face blurred. Breathing slow and steady. Until the camera cut to black. I stayed awake for 5 straight days after that. My body felt like a grave. I started blacking out during the day, not sleeping, just slipping out of time. And every time I did sleep, even if only for seconds, I woke up with blood under my nails. Not real blood. But the feeling. The texture. The smell. I stopped dreaming in single deaths. Now it was rooms. Rooms full of people. Crying. Screaming. All of them looking at me. Begging. Wake up. Some nights I did. Others. I didn't remember. Just long blackouts. Hours of time missing. And every time I checked the news, someone else was gone. The final straw was the mirror. I hadn't looked in weeks. Every reflective surface in my apartment was covered. But one morning, I found a crack in the paper taped to the bathroom mirror. Just big enough to see my face. Only it wasn't my face. It was bloated. Pale. Lips stitched closed. Eyes rolled so far back they looked like cloudy marbles. I fell backward and smashed the mirror with a towel bar. But for a moment, right before it shattered, that face smiled. That night, I gave up. I took the USB, packed a duffel, and I went looking for the man who left it. Took weeks. But I found something. A name. Not his, exactly, but a file referencing an old sleep study. A discontinued research trial from 2009. Project codename, Noctivagus. Translation, The Night Walker. The subjects? All people who reported predictive nightmares after trauma. But every single one of them died in their sleep. From causes ranging from aneurysms to self-inflicted injuries during unconscious episodes. I wasn't chosen. I was inherited. Whatever was in those dreams, it passed from sleeper to sleeper. Like a disease. Or a parasite. And the second you told someone, it started watching them, too. I started avoiding everything associated with sleep. No beds. No curtains. No clocks. Because I noticed something new. The dreams were leaking. I'd be walking down the street and suddenly hear a voice that didn't belong to the waking world. Or I'd look at a stranger, and they'd blur, like dream logic mid-reality. And then it happened. Broad daylight. At a coffee shop. I blinked, and when I opened my eyes, I wasn't there anymore. I was in a hospital hallway. Flickering fluorescent lights. No doors. Only stretchers. And bags. Moving. Something inside them writhing against the plastic. I looked down. My reflection in a shattered glass panel wasn't me. It was her. My sister. Face frozen. Eyes wide. Mouth sewn shut. I snapped out of it as a barista tapped my shoulder. "You okay?" My coffee had overflowed and burned my hand. But I couldn't feel it. That night, I received an email. No subject. No sender. Just one line of text. "You killed her. The dream remembers." My sister had died 10 years ago. Car crash. I wasn't driving. But I was the reason she was there. And now, the dream was using grief as a door. I spiraled. Every mirror, every flicker of light, every dream. I began to see it. Not a creature. Not a demon. But a pattern. Something ancient. Something that feeds on memory, regret, fear. It doesn't kill you. It traps you. Keeps you alive just enough to dream again. And again. Until your identity breaks apart. You become another voice in the dream. I haven't slept in 7 days. I can't anymore. I see things even with my eyes open. My apartment isn't real. My body feels like it belongs to someone else. The last time I blinked, I saw a table. Medical. And there were surgeons. No eyes. Just black ovals where faces should be. One of them held my sister's locket. The one she was buried with. He whispered, "You're not dreaming. She is." And I realized. I never woke up. I'm still in the dream. There was never a way out. That's the secret. No cure. No final boss. No ritual or priest or medication. Once you've dreamt it, you belong to it. But here's the part that still keeps me up. I never dreamt of myself dying. I only ever saw others. Until last night. In the dream, I was sitting in a white room. No doors. A single chair. A mirror on the wall. I was strapped in. Muffled voices behind the glass. Then, a TV flickers on in the corner. It's playing a YouTube video. My own face. Talking. This exact story. Me, recounting the dreams. The deaths. And behind me on the screen. Someone standing in the shadows. Face hidden. I paused the video. Tried to rewind. But the screen cracked. And a voice whispered from behind the mirror. This is where you end. But they begin. The dream let me wake up. Just once more. I found a new file on my laptop. Recorded the moment I was asleep. In it, you can hear me speaking. But I never said those words. I'm whispering names. Coordinates. And at the very end. One final message. If you're hearing this, it's already watching you too. The dream spreads through stories. Through curiosity. And now, it's inside you. So if you ever wake up and the time is 3:11 a.m., don't touch your phone. Don't look in the mirror. And never answer the voicemail. Because that's not your voice anymore. It's the dreams. Would you survive your own nightmares? Speech balloon comment, don't sleep if you made it this far. Headphone full story, every time I dream, someone else dies, streaming now. Thank you for spending this stormy night with us. If this brought you peace, comfort, or rest, please consider subscribing and joining our quiet little corner of the night. New calming stories and sleep sounds await you every evening. Subscribe to the channel. Like, share, sleep deeply.